Hello and welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. I am your host and beat reporter, John Shipley, and I have been your host and beat reporter every day since August 2019, covering the Jacksonville Jaguars for On SI, and we will continue to march forward through yet another season together. As always, you can find our 100% free, 24/7, boots-on-the-ground coverage of the Jacksonville Jaguars when you follow us on social media such as Facebook and Twitter, at Jaguars on SI. You can also find us at www.si.com/NFL/Jaguars. All right, folks, welcome to today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. I am your host and beat reporter. And today we are going to talk about the Jaguars being hit by the injury bug really for the first time this season. Obviously, they didn't have De'Ami Brown against the San Francisco 49ers, managed to pull out the win without him. You could tell it definitely had an impact on the team. There weren't, I would say, as much of a variety in the passing game as we had seen in recent weeks. It seemed like the passing game was maybe dialed back a little bit. But the most significant injury facing the Jaguars now is not De'Ami Brown. It is, quite simply, Travon Walker. Travon Walker has been one of the Jaguars' most impressive players through the first month of the season. He had it was a solid week one, a little quiet. Week two, absolutely dominated the Cincinnati Bengals. It, to me, was maybe the best performance by a Jaguars pass rusher since Josh Allen against Houston in 2023 on the road, when he had like 12 or 13 pressures and basically called game with a game-ending sack on C.J. Stroud that knocked them basically out of field goal range. I mean, Travon was absolutely everywhere against Cincinnati. And then against Houston, another good game. Week 4 against San Francisco, he leaves very early in the game with a wrist injury. You could see him in a video posted by the team on their own social media of the locker room following the game. You could see him in a sling. I believe it's his left wrist. And, Liam Cohen had said on Monday he was seeing a specialist. They are going to basically take it from there. But the way ESPN's Jeremy Fowler reported the injury, which he said it's not season-ending, which I don't know who put season-ending on the table, but anytime you have to say in week 5 this injury is not season-ending, makes you believe that he's probably going to be out for a little bit. It's the first time the Jaguars will really be, and this is, of course, pending him actually being out an extended period of time, which, of course, I'm assuming that based on the wording and framing of Fowler's report. It'd be the first time the Jaguars are really without Walker for an extended period of time since they made him the number 1 pick in 2022. And it would be a significant loss to not have him. I think going into week 5 alone against the Kansas City Chiefs, not having Travon Walker is a big deal. And I say that as, Travon Walker isn't going to rack up double-digit pressures weekly. It's not his game. What Travon Walker does do, though, is he demands attention. Offensive lines and offensive coordinators have to game plan for Travon Walker. He's too good of an athlete. He's too strong. He's too physical. He's too athletic. He's too versatile for them not to. He makes an impact on the game. Even when he's not necessarily the guy making the play, you can just tell his presence helps free things up for other players. I mean, Josh Allen alone, I think it helps a lot. Josh Allen had a really good game against the San Francisco 49ers. He's had a really good game in pretty much every week this season. But you could tell when Travon Walker left the game, the Jaguars, they had to manufacture some pressure. Because at that point, Josh Allen is, obviously the blue chip pass rusher. But he's trying to do a lot of the heavy lifting on his own. And when you have that, teams can devote more resources to trying to slow down that one pass rusher. More chips, more double teams. more sliding the protection toward. You don't get that very often when you have Travon Walker on the field as well, because teams can't afford to just pay attention to one guy. And you could just tell the Jaguars' pass rush lacks some teeth without Travon Walker in the lineup on Sunday. And that was with Hines Allen having a good game. That was with Eric Armstead having some definite flashes. But you could tell that the Jaguars just lost a little bit of juice on defense when Walker left the game. I think that's a credit to who Walker is as a player, to how he's developed since entering the NFL. I mean, the Travon Walker that has played in 2025 compared to the Travon Walker in 2022 as a rookie, it's not even the same player. It's night and freaking day. And for all the criticism that Trent Baalke has gotten, including quite a bit from me, he saw the long-term vision with Travon Walker. Now, I know that won't quiet any Aiden Hutchinson debates or whatever for the rest of their careers. But Travon Walker has turned into a heck of a player for the Jaguars. He's turned into a very important player for the Jaguars. You know, the big thing with their defense is, you know, they can do so many things because they have one of the best edge rushing duos in the entire NFL. And without Walker in the lineup, you're asking Josh Hines Allen to carry a lot of that weight. And this isn't me saying, you know, he can't do it. Of course Josh Hines Allen can do it. He's one of the best pass rushers in the NFL. But the defense is better with both those guys on the field. Now, what do they do without Travon? I think, like I mentioned, the first thing is they have to manufacture some pressure. You've seen Campanile really do it throughout the year. You know, send safeties, send the nickel, send inside linebackers on pressure looks. They're not one of the highest blitzing teams. Not by a long shot. But when they have blitz, it has seemed like it's been with a purpose in terms of the time and place, etc. Now it feels like, you know, they're going to have to try to blitz just to generate some pressure. And that can be a dangerous road. When you're feeling like you have to blitz to get after the quarterback, then you can leave yourself open to some damage from the opposing offense. I mean, the 49ers touchdown at the end of the game on Sunday, screen pass to beat the blitz. And I think that when you're having to rely on the blitz as much as I think the Jaguars might have to, you know, you live by the blitz, you die by the blitz. You know, it's definitely a two-sided, you know, double-edged sword. Now, in terms of the guys that they have, I think Derwan Smoot can definitely give you, you know, some good reps. Don't think it's like near, obviously, what you're getting from Walker, but he's an experienced guy. He's a versatile guy. He's had a solid season so far in his role. Emmanuel Ogbah has had a really slow start to the season. He showed some signs of life in week 4. So, you know, you probably hope that he can continue that. BJ Green played his first snaps of the year. He only played 2 snaps, but he was at least active, was at least available. So maybe you see his snaps increase, at least in pass rushing situations. Because I do think Green has a lot of natural talent as a pass rusher. He's very explosive. He has good bend. He's, you know, athletic. He really gets off, you know, the blocks well. So I think that's a definite option. I think Dennis Gardeck rushing off the edge a little bit more is a potential option. I mean, we'll see when they get Jalen McLeod back as well. But replacing Travon Walker will not be easy. I don't even think you can replace Travon Walker. You find somebody to fill a gap, of course, but there's no replacing what Travon Walker brings because his production doesn't even tell the whole story of what he really offers to the Jaguars defense just by simply his presence being out there and how it affects opposing offenses, opposing coordinators, and their schemes and play calls. That's all for today's episode of the Jacksonville Jaguars Insider Podcast. My name is John Shipley. We'll see you next time.